And hello, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, outside the Metrodome, the site of Super Bowl 26. And on behalf of all of us here at CBS Sports, we welcome you to the Super Bowl today, our prelude to what we feel will be an outstanding game today between the Washington Redskins and the Buffalo Bills. Now, of course, it's Super Bowl time. Everything seems to get blown a little bit out of proportion and larger than life, like a 2.5-hour pregame show, and like this giant-sized replica of the Vince Lombardi Trophy. The trophy, of course, will be awarded to the winning team at the end of the game. Not this one. It'll be the silver model. And, of course, the Vince Lombardi Trophy is the symbol of excellence in all of sports. Now, you may be wondering, where is Terry? Understand that these Super Sundays are very special to him. Terry Bradshaw played in and won 4 Super Bowls in his day. And right now, Terry finds himself where he always found himself on Super Bowl Sunday as a player, down on the field, all by himself, hours before the game. Terry?
Thank you, Greg. You know, this is a very special moment, especially for me. It's been over a decade since I've actually stepped onto the playing surface of a Super Bowl field. I mean, this is, as a player, this is the most unique experience in the world. First of all, as I go back, the first thing I remember is how nervous that I was as a player. Then the second thing I noticed was everything's different. Look at the field's been painted. If you notice, this field's painted. Then I look around and I say, well, look, we got big helmets over here blown up with air in them now. We didn't have those during the regular season. So all of this tells me this is kind of something special. Also, I've put on my working clothes. Normally it's just my pants and my shoes, and that kind of brings me to attention and says, hey, it's time to go to work. This is a special moment. And when I come out for Super Bowl day, the first thing I do is walk out here and I look around because I want to capture this. This may never happen to me again. I have 2 reasons today to capture it. One of them is Aaron and one of them is Haley, my little girls. And one of these days they're going to say, Daddy, did you really play in a Super Bowl? And I'm going to say, yes, I did, dear. And I want to tell her, and I want to be able to look at all of these things. Look, we got banners hanging up here. We didn't have banners during the regular season. Everything's painted, freshly painted. Got us a big TV screen up here. Didn't have one of those either. Boy, that tells me this is really special. Now I'm walking around. Now look, got a big football over here, the Lombardi Trophy. It's blown up with air. The field is painted. All of these things remind me of exactly how special this is. This is my sanctuary. Less than 2,000 men have ever had this privilege, the privilege of playing in a Super Bowl. I look in the corner, and right now I've played a game, and you know what? Every pass I've thrown has been completed. Heck, right now I'm the MVP. Greg?
All right, Terry, we've got a full agenda ahead of us on the Super Bowl today, including a special look inside the huddles and along the sidelines in the season just passed. Leslie Visser with the latest on a Super Bowl hero of the past, former Redskins quarterback Doug Williams. Bernard Goldberg of 48 Hours has a look at the action off the field in the surreal world of Las Vegas. And from out of this world, we'll talk football with the astronauts orbiting the Earth aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery. And, of course, some thoughts from the man who was the winning head coach in Super Bowl 11. Meanwhile, the Redskins and the Bills are making their way to work. Randy Cross and Dan Fouts will have their reports when the Super Bowl today continues here on CBS.
The Super Bowl today, live from Minneapolis, is sponsored by United. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies. Old Spice Conditioning Hydrogel. It's the simple solution to saving face. And by Siemens. For leading-edge technologies in electronic and electrical engineering, depend on Siemens.
Walk into this stadium with 16 victories and 2 losses so far this season, and the NFC champions. Now, just a short while ago, they arrived by bus from their headquarters in Bloomington, Minnesota, and our Dan Fouts was on hand to greet them, and one of the guys that he had a chance to talk with was cornerback Darrell Green, who will play a big part today.
Long bus ride in from Monticello. What did you guys do on the bus? What was the mood of the team?
Very quiet, and you know, as far as I was concerned, I was just kind of sitting and thinking about what I had to do, just trying to relax. And also just not want to get too intense before the game. It's still quite a while off before the game. And the Super Bowl is normally slow. You know, there's a lot of things going to happen and make it go a little bit slower, longer half times. Yeah. So we're going to keep a good balance.
Well, Good luck, Daryl. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Yeah, you too.
That's Daryl Green as he arrived just a short while ago. And now Dan Fouts is standing by live outside the Washington locker room. I found Daryl's comments interesting, Danny, when you consider that the Washington Redskins have been very, very loose and free and easygoing all week long. Does it surprise you that it's a quiet bus ride in?
Well, Greg, the thing about the Redskins, this is the 4th time they've done this under Joe Gibbs. And I think that the thing about them this year is that they were considered the best team in the National Football Conference. They expected to be here today. And when you see a player like Daryl Green, he knows how to prepare himself for this ball game. The Bills have the same situation. They have a different attitude. But the Redskins right now, a confident group, a team that had a long, long bus ride in from way up north here, but they are ready for today's game.
All right, Dan, thanks very much. Now, the Buffalo Bills arrived just a short while ago, led by head coach Marv Levy. You remember Levy endured a couple of 2-14 seasons in Buffalo before he turned the team around, and they've been pretty successful the last 4 seasons and are making their 2nd straight trip to the Super Bowl. Randy Cross was on hand as the team bus pulled into the Metrodome here, and he had a chance to talk to one of the guys that you certainly feel is going to play a big role in the game today, and that's all-pro linebacker Cornelius Bennett.
Tampa last year, this year Minneapolis. Feel different?
Definitely, you know, it's not all the hype built up like it was last year. We didn't have the time to prepare like this time around, but I'm relaxed over here early, just trying to get my head together.
Now, Randy Cross is standing by outside the Buffalo locker room. Randy, you heard Dan Fouts and Daryl Green talking about how quiet the team bus ride was for the Washington Redskins. How did you gauge the mood of the Buffalo Bills?
Well, I'll tell you, Greg, if they thought that bus ride was quiet, I would imagine Buffalo was even worse. You know, a year ago, very confident, very swaggering team came into Super Bowl 25 favored. And these Bills today are very intense. They're very quiet. I think they're very edgy. I mean, they know they're in bad company if they lose this game. Puts them in there with Minnesota and Denver, and they want to do everything in their power to avoid it. I mean, this is a team that emotionally is about to explode, and a team that's heard about the Hogs. They've heard about the Washington defense. They're so sick and tired of hearing about everything, they can't wait to play.
All right, Randy, thanks very much. Now, with all that's going on in and around the Twin Cities surrounding this Super Bowl event, one of the major concerns is simply moving all of the people around. And with that part of the story, let's go over to City Hall and check in with my colleague, Leslie Visser. Hello, Leslie.
The Metrodome.
Well, let's see. About now, they're about ready to get the thing rolling. It's been a long day already. They probably spent some time looking at their game plan, getting everything down. And
Are they brain dead yet, or are they just too much?
I think they're pretty fired up right now. They just can't wait to get the thing started.
You're still the defending champion right now for a couple more hours, so enjoy it, okay? Randall Cunningham, you know, without the injury, he might have been playing in today's game. How is the injury?
It's doing good. I got about 2 more months of rehab, and then the doctor's going to let me go. I'm 3 months ahead of schedule and feeling real good.
What's the key to the game today, Randall?
I think the key for Washington is to not put the pressure on Rippey and allow the offensive line to get that running game going where they have 3rd and short. And if they can continue to do that and take the ball down and get a couple of quick scores, I think they have a advantage. But if Kelly gets hot, you don't know what happens.
Randall Cunningham. Warren Moon from the Houston Oilers. Hi, Warren. How you doing? How do you look at the game today?
Well, you got one team that wants to play up-tempo, and you got another one that wants to slow the tempo down. So it's going to be important for Buffalo to try and get ahead early and force Washington out of that running type of game.
What do you think of this whole scene here? You've been here for about a week.
Hey, it's fantastic. I think everybody's having a great time, right?
When are you going to play in a Super Bowl, do you think?
I hope next year. Boy, I've been waiting my turn, and hopefully it'll come next year, but I'm going to try and keep playing until I get one of those.
Thank you, Warren. Obviously, one of the greatest of all time, Gale Sayers. Hi, Gale. How are you, Ben? How good is Thurman Thomas?
Thurman Thomas is probably one of the better backs, one of the 2 best backs in the league besides Barry Sanders.
Who do you like today? What are you looking at the game today? How do you see it?
I would not be surprised if Buffalo wins. I like them on AstroTurf. I like that no-huddle offense, but if the Washington Redskins, they're favored to win if they win, but I like Buffalo.
All right, Gale, good to see you. Jeffrey Osborne, how you doing, Jeffrey? He wrote a song for the weekend for the players, which you're going to hear later. Tell me just a little bit about the song.
Well, the song is a tribute to the NFL and all their contributions to the youth organizations in America. And I just tried to write something that shows the emotional side of a player. Everybody looks at them as superheroes, and they are that, but they're still real people, and they're real human beings. And it's a great for me to hang out and have fun with
the whole thing is, we're going to hear the song later. I'll see you.
American Express Gold cards can get you to La Roche-Guyon, one of the prettiest towns in France. But should something go wrong here, only Visa Gold can get you out.
You had to come to France, right?
Don't start, Marty.
Because La Roche-Guyon's only towing service
No, we're not getting a tow truck. I can get this out.
doesn't take American Express.
Oui?
Visa Gold, delivering what really matters.
Jamal's from.
Honey, that means I eat France.
Oh.
It's everywhere you want to be.
The most physically imposing speed skater in the world is Igor Shelazovsky. At over 6 feet and 209 pounds, the Soviet star is a co-owner of the world's record in the 1,000 meters. Shelazovsky, who comes from Bielorussia, says he began skating because there was nothing else to do.
Visa, sponsor of this Olympic profile and the Winter Olympics on CBS.
I started out very young because my older brother, I would always hang around with him. He was a Stanley High School quarterback, and I would attend the practices, and he got the coach to let me be a water boy, and it just carried over from there.
He was a tough player coming up, and you could kind of see that. I think he was less than a year old, and he had started walking in his walker, and I guess the porch was about a good 5 feet off the ground, and he walked his way over and fell off. And I think it scared me and my mom more than anything, but Cornelius didn't even cry, you know. You didn't even hear a whimper from him. And we went and picked him up. The only thing he did was just spit a little dirt out of his mouth and kept right on going.
And more of the players slowly and surely work their way out onto the field as they get themselves set for Super Bowl 26, Redskins and the Bills. Let's go down to Leslie Visser now, who will talk to Mark Rippon, who is taking a major chance going up against Cornelius Bennett today.
Mark, your high school coach told you that the definition of pressure is having a chance to prove yourself. But what can you prove today?
Well, I think there's no more pressure situation than the one we're in right now, and you know, go out there and have fun. We've done it, you know, week in and week out. I don't see any change, and I know the guys are ready, and it's just seemed like a long spell to get to this point. But we're here now, and I think we're excited and nervous in the same token.
How can you attack Buffalo's defense?
Control the ball would be a good way of doing a lot of things for us. It'll enable us to have some opportunities later on in the passing game, and it'll keep our defense off the field. When they're playing against an offense like they're playing against, it's awfully difficult, you know, when they're out there a lot of times. So it'll enable us to do a lot of things.
What about Joe Theismann said that he could not even remember the pregame warm-ups. What's your mood right now?
That's pretty good right now. You know, I'm getting kind of antsy to get out there and get going. I think that's the bottom line. I think we all are.
Great. Well, good luck to you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Mark and Leslie. Randy Cross joins us now, the proud possessor of 3 Super Bowl rings, courtesy of the 49ers. Nice to be back at a Super Bowl.
It is great to be at the Super Bowl.
I bet. Well, while most fans tend to key on the play of the quarterbacks, as a former All-Pro lineman, Randy has a different idea about where Super Bowl 26 will be won or lost.
King Kong would probably be the best, you know, that big gorilla at the zoo. But in truth, you're looking for a guy with size and quickness and feet, balance. Now, along with that, he better be smart.
I love the great athletes, you know, but what we really like in that defensive line are those snot blowers. We don't care about athletic ability down there. Hell, they only got to run from here to that wall. You got to be tough. You got to be rugged. You got to be a guy that likes to taste the dirt and mud.
In the Super Bowl, there's plenty of marquee matchups. You know, the superstars. Well, the Super Bowl is won down in the trenches, down in the pits by the linemen. And it's guys like Bruce Smith and Jim Lachey that'll decide this Super Bowl. They'll spend the 2 weeks leading up to this game. They'll be on the practice field. They'll be in the weight room. But more importantly, they'll be here in the film room, studying each other's tendencies for a little edge, a little tip-off, something to give them the advantage.
For the uninitiated, how many times will you watch a film, let's say, of the NFC Championship game?
Just on the average, I usually watch more film during the week than I watch TV in a month. You know, I just can't see any weaknesses right now at this point, but before we play on Sunday, hopefully I'll win.
The running game is the Hog's specialty. And for the Redskins, there's one trademark play.
Being here, the counter trade has been great. You know, I think that that's a fun play because it gives you a chance to pull and get some momentum built up. And if you're lucky, you get to hit a safety in the hole. And if you're not, you get to hit a guy like Shane Collin or Carvin Bailey, those big stud linebackers.
Watch here as Lachey, the prototype linebacker hunter, pulls and leads. The result? Just another snack for the head hog.
Fans like, hey, who's that 79 pulling around the corner? What's he doing over there? He must have screwed up, but actually that's one of our plays.
Yeah. Bruce Smith's knee had him limping through 1991, but today he's hoping if he doesn't mind, the knee won't matter.
I tell you, this particular ball game, I don't care what my physical ability is. Mentally, I'm going to go in here prepared 100%, and I'm going to give it all that I can, and hopefully that'll be enough to win the ball game.
He does one thing when he's squared up on you, and then you got to worry about, is he going this way, is he doing that way? But then when he gets way out here, I mean, he's way outside of you. That's got to really worry you.
It does because he has a quick upfield move, and that can cause some problems because of his quickness, you know, getting upfield real quick. But also with that, you got to be careful of, hey, he's going to come inside off that move too because, you know, he's angled right inside, and he can just take a sharp move right inside. So, you know, they got great athletes over there, and, you know, hey, we're just a bunch of offensive linemen, you know, trying to hang in there with guts and everything we got to get the job done.
I've got a theory. You guys are the ones that win Super Bowls.
And I don't know how we do it each and every Sunday, but it's a dogfight in those trenches. And unless you've actually been down in the trenches, you just wouldn't understand.
And there's Bruce Smith down on the field. He missed 13 games with his injured knee, which is now said to be about 75% healthy. And Randy, is 75% going to get the job done against Jim Lachey?
I really don't think so. You know, Bruce Smith has been feeding off the energy of the guys around him. That's helped him a lot. But against Lachey, you know, we saw him in that piece pulling to Lachey's right, that counter tray. I'd run that right at Bruce and just power him with Lachey. I don't think he can stand up to the pounding.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was listening to him talk, and I thought, for defensive end, number one is he doesn't have a deep enough voice. His voice is too mild. His eyes don't scare me. See, I'm used to looking in eyes. The eyes don't scare me at all. And then when I looked at the tackle of all people, I looked in Lachey's eyes. I said, those are some bad eyes now. So it looks like, you know, Lachey ought to put his eyes on the other side, but it doesn't really match up. And I agree with you, but I think at 75%, Bruce Smith, I've heard, likes to take it off a little bit. You know, he won't play every play, doesn't come 100%. And Randy, that might help him in this game.
All right, all I know is that Bruce Smith doesn't scare me if I'm up here either. Now, of course, a bad knee wasn't the only thing bothering Bruce this week. He also was asked repeatedly about the racial hate mail he's received up in Buffalo, and he hinted that he might want to be traded. Coming up after a commercial break, a gathering of the minds. Terry, Randy, and I will be joined by Dan Fouts and Mike Francesa, and we will exchange some Super Sunday thoughts after this.
You better write it.
The future belongs to the young, but its promise rests in all our hands today. At SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, we're working for a brighter tomorrow. By establishing the Busch Wildlife Preserve and the SeaWorld Research Institute, we're moving to preserve that which has been given to us in trust. At Anheuser-Busch, we realize if we're to make way for the generations to come, we must all work to preserve what we have today.
You know what's smart? This Magnavox digital CD shelf system that's incredibly powerful, compact, but what's really smart is this Magnavox 8mm Easy Cam that weighs less than 2 pounds. But what's really brilliant is this 13-inch TV with a built-in VCR. But what's ingenious is this 31-inch with a smart window that lets you see other channels and swap the picture. You know what's smart? This Magnavox digital CD... Go away!
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
Colts. Buccaneers. Lions. Cowboys. Seahawks. Rams.
After the teams chose the inspiration for their names, they chose GTE, the telecommunications consultant to the NFL. Imagine what GTE could do for you.
The Tribune called Davis rules jolly good.
The whole cost is crackers. I mean, they're a little off bubble. Who cares? It's funny, funny, funny.
The Bombay Bugle is charmed.
You know, when I'm not trying to bring the snake out of the basket, I'm watching Davis rules.
An all-new Davis rules Wednesday.
It's funnier than the mongoose.
Welcome back to the Metrodome, everyone, here in Minneapolis. We have gathered together as many people as physically possible on our set. Terry, Dan Fouts, Randy Cross, Mike Francesa are all here. And, of course, all week long we've been talking about this game. And I want to start, Mike, with something that you said a few days ago about how the Buffalo Bills came into this game. You said overconfident last year.
Oh, before that, you know, all these rings at this table, Greg. I was going to bring my graduation ring, see if I could fit in. You know, we got 7 rings here. But I felt last year that the Bills, to a man, off that blowout of the Raiders, were terribly overconfident all week, thought they were going to blow the Giants out. This year, after what happened in the Denver game, they feel a little overlooked. I think it works in their favor to a big extent in this game.
Dan?
They still have to deal, though, with the power of the Redskins. The Redskins are going to want to do the exact same thing the Giants did last year to the Bills, and they are a team that can do it. But if the Bills come up and blitz, the Redskins also have the ability to throw the bomb. Rippon's out here 5 hours ago. He's lobbing the ball 50 yards down the field, just getting loose. That boy's ready.
Sure. You know, and the quarterbacks will do that today, too.
Well, you know, Randy likes to talk about linemen because linemen, that's just all they know is linemen. See, but quarterbacks, see, we like to talk about quarterbacks, and I think it's just the perfect matchup. 2 quarterbacks that you're going to see today put the football, you know, vertically, throw it deep and down the field. And if I'm home watching this, I love this kind of football. The only thing I would be concerned about is, number one, the tempo of the game. And if I'm looking at Jim Kelly, if he gets behind, see, he might panic and push it a little bit and get out of the game plan. Why? Because he calls his own plays. But on the other side, you look at what happens if Rippon is having a bad day and his tempo, well, it won't get out of hand because his tempo is controlled by the sidelines because his plays are sent in by the head coach Gibbs.
Now, Randy, we'll get to the guys in the trenches in a minute, I promise you. But Mark Rippon has only been sacked 7 times this year. It must be heaven for a quarterback to drop back and really not have a fear of being sacked. Can he take a hit?
That's the big question. And you have to look back at his history, and his history is, no, he cannot take the big hit. Injury problems led to a lot of fumbles, a lot of questions among the Redskins staff themselves as to exactly that, Greg. Can he take the hit? But we don't know about this year. 7 times, and a couple of times he just tripped and fell down by himself. And the other, most of the times, it was the Philadelphia Eagles that got to him. The Buffalo Bills won't get to Rippon today.
You know, Jeff George of the Indianapolis Colts has been sacked 7 times in one game a couple of times. We talk about protecting the quarterbacks, Randy. These are 2 talented offensive lines today. The game very well might be decided in the trenches.
In deference to 2 great quarterbacks we have,
Thank you.
no arguing that point. But I've seen a lot of great quarterbacks flat on their back that can't do much in a big game like this, and you get a lot of pressure. And I think the matchup between the Washington offensive line and the Buffalo defense is really where this game's at. Can Smith and Wright and everybody stand up to that offensive line. If they get at Rippon, Rippon will put it up. Rippon is different from Jim Kelly in that Kelly thinks he's got to win the game all the time. Rippon stays calm and cool. Nobody hits him. We don't know, but I did a lot of their games last year, and as soon as somebody touched Mark Rippon, he starts whining, he starts crying to his coaches, and he puts the ball in the air.
Interesting contrast today in field goal kickers. Norwood missed a potential game winner at the end of the game last year in Tampa. The Giants beat Buffalo. He has had to live with that all year long, and they sure asked him about it all week long here.
And I don't think he handled it very well. He was very uptight all week. I think it's going to play on his mind all day. The edge has to go to Low Miller. I think it's something Norwood cannot escape.
Yeah, and then Low Miller, you mentioned, on the flip side, here's a guy who comes back to the field on which he played his college football, and against Iowa back in 1986, he kicked a 62-yarder and had a 66-yarder bounce off the upright.
I'm impressed that you know all those things. You know, it's kind of like being at home for him. But I want to go back to what he was saying. You know, you could. I watched these 2 teams this week, and Dan and Randy know this. I wouldn't want my football team uptight, and it almost is an obsession with the Buffalo Bills. They got to win this game. It's an obsession with them. Whereas as we've observed Joe Gibbs, he's laughing, the team is laughing, and I believe it's that kind of lackadaisical, you know, I got my mind on my business, but I'm going to enjoy this a little bit. That's the attitudes I have seen in the past, because that's what Chuck Noll he just drilled in us. Have some fun, guys. You've earned this. And those are the attitudes that win. I think they want it so badly that they'll fight. It'll hurt them.
You think the Buffalo Bills can get into the rhythm of things with the no-huddle offense?
I think that's huge, Greg. I feel that their rhythm is key because Kelly usually finishes the game the way he starts it. If he can get out fast, and I think they want to play fast break, go deep, challenge the Redskins, and get into a wide-open game, I think Kelly's rhythm is key at the top of the game.
We shouldn't underestimate the quality of that offensive line of Buffalo to be able to do that no-huddle and jump right up there on the line of scrimmage.
Physically, that's the best offensive line in the business. I mean, you look at that right side, when they're pulling left, you get Ballard and Parker. You got about 700 pounds of meat on a running play. Thurman Thomas can't see the defense behind him, and they protect him great. They don't get the height that the Redskins get for it, but that offensive line works so well together and knows so much what the other guy is going to do and what Thurman and Keller are going to do. They're excited. I talked to them before the game. These guys are fun.
Gentlemen, thanks very much. Marv Levy, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, takes the field, and when we come back, Bernard Goldberg of CBS News takes us through Las Vegas, a city that in its own unique way hosts the Super Bowl every year. That story after this word from your local station.
America's Christy Yamaguchi, the reigning U.S. and world champion. Can she be the first American woman since Dorothy Hamill to win Olympic gold?
This is CBS.
Total indulgence, zero guilt. Total indulgence, zero guilt.
Weight Watchers presents 3 chocolate sensations. New brownie a la mode, new cream-filled eclairs, and double fudge cake. Each just 200 calories or less. From Weight Watchers.
Total indulgence, zero guilt. Yeah.
Recently, Denver Technical College introduced an educational concept unlike any other. Teach the skills that businesses need, then guarantee these skills. The reviews are in. 3 cheers to Denver Technical College for guaranteeing a student's competency to employers. With the knowledge of the skills business needs for tomorrow's jobs, DTC is changing its curriculum to meet those needs. Since 1945, Denver Technical College.
Ford family 4x4s, the best never rest. The best-selling 4x4 sport utility in the West. Ford Explorer leads the way in comfort and style. Ford Aerostar, the only all-wheel drive family minivan that lets you use anti-lock brakes while you're in all-wheel drive. Both are available with an impressive list of safety features. And four-wheel drive to take you where you need to go. Best in class, best in sales, the best never rest. See them today at your Ford dealer.
Colorado's 7 outdoor card, it's your emergency ID.
I remember in junior high school, I was going to high school being a quarterback, and my dad built this little thing for me out in the yard, and built it with some old railroad ties, and he put a tire on it. So I'd come home after school, and he'd be out there just swinging his tire, and I'd just drop back and throw like 100, 200 balls trying to throw it through this tire. And it was funny. People used to go past my house and look at me and think, what is that kid doing? And, you know, some of my dad's friends would say, man, that kid, that Calvin's going to drive his kids crazy.
When he was in playing knee-high football was when I first began to really believe that, you know, he had some talent. Some of the moves that Andre makes is unbelievable. You know, he himself says, he looks at it and he says, how did I do that? I'm extremely proud of him.
Not only did he teach me a lot about football, but just a lot about not giving up and going out and working hard, you know, whatever you want to do.
Andre Reed will play a big part in this game, and there's the man who has to get him the football and get it to him early if he's going to make an impact on this game, Bills quarterback Jim Kelly. Now, as fans converge on the chilly Twin Cities for this Super Bowl, there are plenty of fans who have convened in the desert. Bernard Goldberg of 48 Hours reports on how Las Vegas is preparing for Super Bowl 26.
Ben, I don't understand this desert thing of yours. What are we, Bedouins?
I'm talking about a hotel. I'm talking about a place where gambling is allowed.
Your destiny, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas has gone Bugsy over the Super Bowl, proving, as someone once said, that gambling is America's #1 participant sport.
I got Washington.
How much?
500.
You're taking Buffalo? Right. Can I ask how much? Well, I got 13,000 on it so far.
$2 grand. Let's go. Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Jim Kelly.
By kickoff time today, gamblers will place nearly $50 million in legal bets in Nevada, more than $1 billion in illegal bets nationwide, making the Super Bowl the biggest single wagering event of the year.
Bulk of the money now, so the tide's changing. It's coming more on Buffalo. Yeah. The first 10 days it was all Washington.
Buffalo, no problem.
You're betting Buffalo?
Straight out.
So win the
they won't
game?
need the points. They don't need the points.
But they're not just betting on who's going to win. You can also bet on which team will score first or last. You can bet on a shutout or the shortest field goal. And sometimes it gets more exotic than that. Vincent Malliulo runs the sports book at Caesar's Palace.
We've got a proposition up on whether or not Thurman Thomas will accumulate 124.5 yards rushing and receiving. And that's certainly generating a lot of interest as well.
The only bet that isn't up here is whether the referee is going to blow his nose in the third period.
We're thinking about that.
And at the Stardust, some gamblers are getting just a little weird.
Well, right now, we're getting a lot of phone calls on the Bud Bowl.
No, come on, seriously.
No, we really are.
People want to know what the point spread is on the Bud Bowl?
Yes, and if we can book that or not.
And with Buffalo in the Super Bowl, you know Simpson's thoughts are on the big game. Not O.J., Homer.
Do you think the Redskins will beat the spread?
Put me down. Look, Dad, I'll tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl if you want me to, but it'll just validate my theory that you cared more about winning money than you did about me.
Okay.
I think Washington is the mortal lock.
Washington! Woohoo!
Woohoo is an understatement for Bob Stupak. He owns a casino in Las Vegas, and in 1989, he made what is believed to be the biggest single legal bet ever on a Super Bowl game. $1 million on this game, San Francisco versus Cincinnati. San Francisco won. And so did Bob Stupak. $1 million carried off in a box and a bag. See you, gang. You know the old saying that the two kinds of people who should never bet in Las Vegas? Those who cannot afford to lose and those who can.
And I always had a saying, never bet more than you can afford to win.
For most gamblers, about 95%, betting is fun. It makes the game more interesting.
How much you betting?
I'm going to bet a little wager, $1,000. Sit back and rock. No problem.
But behind the glitter, there's a dark side.
It's not the money. It's the compulsive need to win.
Just a few miles from the Las Vegas Strip, a meeting of Gamblers Anonymous. These people are addicts.
I guess you hear about cocaine. I don't know much about it, but I know that the first fix, apparently, or the first whatever they do, is supposed to be a tremendous high, but they never recapture that high. Well, it's the same with gambling. I can never get enough.
Dave Malazzi runs a bar in Philadelphia. He was so addicted, he checked himself into a psychiatric hospital. He lost 2 businesses and a lot more.
I lost my family over everything. My son, I have a 20-year-old son, who was totally devastated from it. And when he came to the hospital to see me, him and my wife, and I told him I had a gun to my head, I wanted to kill myself.
The last time he placed a bet was 1 year ago on last year's Super Bowl game. He lost $6,100.
Probably over the years, I lost maybe $80,000 to $100,000 on Super Bowl games. Today, the football season didn't even matter to me what team wins, what team loses. I don't care. It doesn't affect my life today.
It's early Sunday morning in Las Vegas. The hopefuls are playing, the faithful are praying. And it's probably a good thing they don't schedule church and the Super Bowl at the same time.
Well, I'm glad some people could resist the lures of the big game.
Oh, my God, I forgot the game!
I'm Bernard Goldberg in Las Vegas.
Bernard, thank you. Down on the field, Mark Rippon has reappeared for the Washington Redskins. 30 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions this year. Jim Kelly of the Bills threw 36 TDs and threw 22 interceptions. We're talking about Las Vegas. There's some big-time Las Vegas talent in town for the Super Bowl. A short while ago over at the convention center, the NFL party was in full swing. Jeffrey Osborne serenaded the crowd.
And all the children give them love in return. Oh, how they look up to you. You're their heroes too. Everybody, come on.
And alongside Jeffrey Osborne, the legends of football. When we come back, something you won't want to miss. The lighter side of pro football this season is next as we continue live from the Metrodome after this.
Anyone who has a heart and soul of a hero. All right. Find a way to win. Come on. Find a way to get there and give me something.
If I want to keep playing baseball, I'm going to have to keep working. There's no off-season anymore. Every day it's just me and a pile of iron. Or a bike I ride forever. And when I get sore, I take Advil. It's strong, it works, and I know it helps. And Advil's gentler on my stomach than aspirin. To last as long as I have, you got to stick with what works. That's why I use Advil.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
That was then.
This is now.
Odor prevention then. Odor prevention now. Introducing the pump deodorant from Old Spice. It beats the leading aerosol deodorant. Actually prevents odor better with a superior formula that's right on target. Unlike that messy cloud. Pump up your odor prevention with the Old Spice pump.
Today, Tech Tread Shoe Corporation announced a major retail expansion in 25 U.S. cities.
When I see a company that looks like a good investment, I check it out myself.
We make it easier to follow your own lead.
At Charles Schwab, I can get quotes, financial news, and when I make a trade, commission savings.
Always there to give you just the help you need.
Help yourself at Schwab today.
I'm boots on my toes, the best of the breed. Tequila's my name, and you can follow my lead. I eat burritos for breakfast, bad guys for lunch. But Eddie's my partner, he can take a punch. I don't like cooks, and I hate leeches. I love penthouse pets and red hot beaches.
One's dirty, the other hairy.
It's exciting sometimes.
Together, they're Tequila and Bonetti. Friday.
Mike Tyson. He fought his way to the top. He had it all. Now he's charged with rape. Tomorrow he starts the fight of his life. Complete details on the CBS Evening News.
The Jets are champions of the Mesquite lead 20-footer.
Blanca straight up the middle.
Bradshaw to fire to the near side.
The Raiders are first and goal.
Oh, Dallas touchdown.
They get the Riggins running left, first down.
35 to the 30 to the 20.
Richard runs it into the end zone. And right at the touchdown, 49.
That's the pass again in the pocket, throwing.
And we welcome you back to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and our continuing coverage of the Super Bowl today, leading up to Super Bowl 26. The weather outside this afternoon, hey, Terry, it's heating up. It's up to 26 degrees with
shirt sleeve weather, Greg.
with a wind chill of +1, flurries in the forecast. But here inside the Metrodome, always a comfortable 72. And on the field, the Redskins and the Bills are on the field for some pregame warming up, and we are about 1 hour away from kickoff as the fans feel it. How about you? You getting excited?
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking about these players, and it takes them about 20 minutes. They come running out of the tunnel, run up, get in their position, sprint around, sweat flying everywhere, and then they settle down. They start getting serious. First 20 minutes is the fun part. Last 30 minutes of warm-up is the serious.
Well, as you well know, football is an aggressive, violent sport, but in the midst of all the brutality and the intensity of competition, there's another side of Sunday afternoons on the gridiron.
Hi there. Okay. See if we can get you excited today.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Chicago Bears.
Start to that son of a... Do I smile? Do I sing? Do I look mean? What do I do?
You might get on the highlight film if we talk about something important.
The world is mine! It's all mine!
I really look bad, don't I? Tell it to me. But I'm still gonna dance.
Thursday. Still gonna dance.
He has got that confidence that a quarterback must have. He exudes it out there. He knows, and he lets his players know in the huddle who is the man in charge.
Ace left zag, slant 37M, or you want to go red right, 19 split, okay, 12, X go, 67 with Z on a post.
It's that second one again, red right.
Red right.
Here's Gannon on the play action, flag on the play. He throws the ball up again and catches it.
Mikowski steps up, got to get rid of it, drops the ball. And Miami has it. They're offside.
Hey, ref, they offside.
Well, sorry. I saw it, but I'm not going to get on them today. I'm not, you know, we're just going to. I do the same thing. I get all wrapped up with them and don't concentrate on the game.
Hey, wait a minute, the ball moves! The ball moves! The ball moves, damn it!
My question, Dave, is when you got a reversible, possible reverse, which of the two calls do you reverse? You hurt?
Yeah, I got a good lick, man. You called it from a dude?
Left kick.
Left now. You got that? What's your left hand? You got it.
Hey, Dave! Hey, Bill! Bill! Green Bay? We're the Jets. He said Green Bay.
And right there is how games like this can turn on you.
I guess it's safe to say that anything might happen today because it's all happening.
I'm giving him some phony signal because I think they're stopping me. Let's give him the goose. You got a signal for the goose?
Hey, I like that little pelvic thrust. That's a good shot. Pelvic thrust is a good twist.
Slide safety dog. What the hell is that?
Hamel will catch the short kick of the 5. He's up the far side line to the 10, cuts to the center of the field. Fumbles the ball. It's grabbed by Newman. Newman's going to go in and score. Touchdown, Rams.
That is unbelievable.
That's an awesome play.
It's down to one big play. 42 seconds left in the game.
Everything hangs in the balance now.
We're in sudden death overtime.
10 seconds left.
What catch? Did he make it? Yes! What a catch! I don't believe it! I don't believe it!
How about towels? Anybody need a towel?
This place has gone berserk.
Well, an unbelievable finish.
Next up, on a serious note, a look at the protests by Native Americans and the ensuing controversy over the use of team names they consider racist and insulting. We'll be back.
A luxury car says a lot about its owner.
Mine says I'm witty beyond belief.
Mine says I'm more Europeanish.
Mine says I'm the product of superior genes.
A luxury car says
I'm so successful I can go into debt.
I'm much more handsome.
Cosmopolitan.
Another pathetic sheep following the herd.
Says a lot. I'm irresistible.
Powerful.
Stylish. Sexy.
Dynamic.
The all-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. All it says is that you bought a great car and you can still pay your mortgage.
Now there's a new way to lose weight and feel great.
Slim Fast has big news for you. Eat food you love and lose weight too.
Introducing delicious new Ultra Slim Fast Foods.
When you lose weight the Slim Fast way, you're eating right throughout the day.
A shake for breakfast, another for lunch, a sensible 3-course dinner, and 3 snacks a day.
You lose weight and feeling great. It's the Slim Fast way of life.
If you have fine or thinning hair, a heavy hairspray can plaster it down so it looks like you have even less. But Consor's Special Light Spray doesn't weigh hair down, so your hair looks fuller.
Other side of the field, the Washington Redskins, as we've said, a very loose, easygoing group so far today. Leslie had a chance a short while ago to talk with a member of that receiving posse, Gary Clark.
Gary, you said at your last Super Bowl that your legs were shaking and your throat was dry. What's your mood today?
I'm drinking a lot of water when I go into the locker room. Throat's dry again. Legs not shaking quite as bad, but by the time I come out of that tunnel, you can believe it, I'm going to be one big convulsion.
What about Receivers coach Jack Burns says you will fight to the death to get open. What's your challenge today against Buffalo?
Nate's a great cornerback, and of course Markel Soto, safety, very disciplined on defensive backs and defensive safety. I'm having my work cut out for me, but I just got to go for it. It's the Super Bowl, it's the show. It's time for me to come out and perform my best.
Great attitude. Thanks a lot, Gary. Good luck to you.
And thank you, Gary. There are fans here to root on the Redskins, and there are fans who are here to cheer for the Bills. But one group is here today with a more serious purpose, and Jim Gray is standing by outside Gate F with that story. Jim?
Greg, Minneapolis has the largest urban Native American population in the United States. And right now, the police estimate that there are about 1,500 Native Americans and their sympathizers who've turned out to demonstrate and protest Washington's nickname, the Redskins. They find it very derogatory. Now, you might remember back in the World Series that they protested against the Atlanta Braves. The Indians are concerned that they are a people, not mascots.
Here in Minnesota, as in other parts of the country, Indians are laboring to preserve the sacred rituals which are part of their precious heritage. As they watch with dismay, Indians feel masses of Americans are mocking many of those rituals and corrupting their value and meaning. It's their pride and their dignity which they feel is suffering irreparable damage, a damage sustained by stereotypes.
They're patronizing us. They're treating us second-class citizens. They're treating us as if we don't exist, that Indians are a part of history, that we're a part of the romantic history of America, and that they don't have to take us seriously, and that's the problem.
Redskin, as it's defined in Webster's, is a term that is taken to be offensive.
Redskins is probably the most racist, derogatory name in sports history.
These team names, whether it's in the NFL or Major League Baseball or other organized sports, do not convey any demeaning meaning. They have acquired, in our view, a special and unique meaning affiliated with sports.
The word Redskins does not mean necessarily generically Indians. It means something that's much more important. It means a courage, a braveness.
I consider Jack Kent Cooke to be a racist because I feel that the answers that he has given to the Indian community are very, very arrogantly prejudiced.
Do you respond to that in any way?
Oh, because it's not worthy of response.
I hear you.
But some of Cooke's own players are sympathetic to the concerns of the Native Americans. Should the name be changed?
Truthfully, yes, but that's above and beyond me.
Do you personally find it derogatory?
It doesn't matter whether I personally find it derogatory or not. If they say it bothers them, then that's enough for me.
You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. Do you understand that? It's impossible.
Now, police tell us that this has been a very peaceful demonstration. They have about 200 officers out here to keep the peace. So this protest certainly will heighten awareness, but one thing is definitely for certain, this issue will not be resolved today. Greg?
Jim, thank you. Terry joins John Madden next as we continue to close in on Super Bowl 26. More from the Metrodome in a moment.
From the field. And you just get out there and you're not looking so much at your guys. Now, of course, he's concerned with his quarterback, Mark Rippon. Is his ankle okay? He's looking at that. He's satisfied that that's okay. Now, he's looking at the other guys. See, they haven't played the Buffalo Bills, so you don't know. You've seen them on film, on tape. You don't know how big these guys are, so you want to look at them. And sometimes you want to get out there and you want to find the officials. You see, like Joe's talking to the officials there, and he said, hey, now when they run that quick huddle or that no huddle, you don't have to speed up the game for them or tell me what you're going to do. Marv Levy, he's thinking the same thing. He said he just goes out there and he's just a cheerleader, and then he'll tell you, good throw, Jim, good catch, and so on. And then again, he wants to see the other team. He wants to see who's playing. He wants to see if Matt Millen's there and that type of thing.
It's a big thing to see everything, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and then you start to play psychological games. We used to have Ray Guy used to stand, if they would warm up when they had all the guys there, Ray Guy would, boom, he would punt the thing into the warm-up. Yeah, hit a guy in the head, that type of thing. You were a quarterback, and
well,
in 4 of these things. What'd you do?
Well, the first thing I did was I got out, made sure my feet, made sure I didn't slip and slide. See, that was important. And the other thing, we got a big crowd here, and a lot of them are looking at these players. And so when I came out on the field, I wanted to make sure I had my stride down, especially if I knew my offense was going to be introduced. So I wanted to make sure right foot, left foot, look good, belly flat, head up, you know, get a few hollers. So the stride was very important. Then I wanted to throw the ball, and if I got that good tight spiral going, I knew I was ready. Then I wanted to look. It was important for me to look over my shoulder and see who was watching me, especially players. If 2 or 3 had gathered, you know, like in the Bible verses where 2 or 3 had gathered, then I wanted to really cut one loose, you know, those frozen ropes, and let them know this is what's going to be waiting on you guys later on.
Yeah, it looks like Kelly's doing that. It looks like he's cutting some loose down there.
Yeah, well, he's like a horse. So you got to look at the head now. How much sweat we got here? If we got a little sweat, we're right. That's a little sweat. That's good right there. Pull the hair back. Not a lot there to pull back, but you got to have that sweat thing. And then, of course, coming out is the main thing, because you got to get out of that stupid locker room.
Well, you know, that's always the toughest thing, I think. It's not here. It's always a good feeling when you're out here because the linemen get the hit, you get the throw, you get the catch. The worst part is always when you go in from the field and you have to sit in there for 20 or 25 minutes. That's the next thing these guys have to do is walk up this tunnel.
Yeah, you don't want to get away from those guys that got weak stomachs, right?
Well, you know, there's always going to be someone. I always had Fred Blitnikoff. We knew when it was time to go out to play because Fred Blitnikoff would throw up. So we'd always say, hey, is that Fred Blitnikoff or is that someone calling for Earl?
All right, Greg Gumbel, get me out of here.
Terry and John, thank you very much. 2 guys who ought to know. Well, there's a shot from the helicopter outside the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, and these aerial shots courtesy of the CRM Group. Thank you very much. Next up, we'll check in on the warm-ups outside the stadium where the tailgating parties are starting to cook as we work our way towards Super Bowl 26.
Lots of men have heard about minoxidil, and lots of men have heard about Rogaine. But lots of men don't know that only Rogaine has minoxidil, and only your doctor has Rogaine. For more information, call this number now.
If you want to get the complete story about Rogaine with minoxidil, what it does and how it does it, see your doctor or call 1-800-274-8270.
Upjohn Information Center.
That's 1-800-274-8270.
Put a luggage cart in a suitcase, and what do you get? Samsonite's piggyback. It's particularly handy on long trips like the one from your car to the ticket counter.
Imagine a rent-a-car company that offers special delivery right to your door. That's Enterprise.
Here, let me help you.
Enterprise, a special rent-a-car company that gives you special delivery.
It's more than a crying shame. It's a national tragedy. And here are its victims. Every day, hundreds of infants enter the world with 2 strikes against them, helpless and addicted.
It's really hard for them. He's craving for the drug.
For many of their mothers, it starts as a game, an escape from life's problems. But soon the game gets in their blood. And once that happens, a mother's addiction can sentence her child to death. Something to consider for their sake, if not yours.
Where there's help, there's hope.
The NFC champion Washington Redskins, who come into this game as the favorites, and why not? Best record in football at 16 up and 2 down. Oh, you know, at every NFL game, there's a lot of tailgating going on outside in the parking lots, and this Super Bowl is no exception. Let's join Pat O'Brien, who is outside meeting and making friends with some of the outer-towners here to cheer their local heroes on to victory.
All right, Greg, thank you. Late afternoon outside the Metrodome.
freezing weather, but despite that, no shortage of tailgaters out here.
Hey, Pat O'Brien!
Hey, it's the super fans from Saturday Night Live. They do a sports talk show from Ditka. Hi, you guys. Who do you like in the game?
Well, you know, the Bills' defense is looking pretty good, well, with Bruce Smith back and everything. But I figure if Harbaugh can throw to his backs early, they ought to keep their pass rush on it.
That's right, and then you'll have a certain romp courtesy of a certain team known as the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears.
Hold on. What are you guys talking about?
Would you care for some buffalo meat, Pat?
I don't understand.
It's quite
that
tasty.
Either.
Oh, lovely.
Right over
before
here.
each game, we dine on the mascot of the opposing team.
That's right.
Before L.A., we eat a ram.
Right.
For a Phoenix game, we eat cardinal.
For Broncos, we eat horse meat.
What does that taste like, by the way?
Not as gamey as you'd expect, Pat.
Yeah, well, you gotta, you know, put it in a nice chili
Never
or
barbecue
spaghetti
it.
sauce.
Baste it.
What would you do while we're here before a Detroit Lions game?
For Detroit, any member of the Cat family would be acceptable.
That's right.
Listen, guys, I'm here to tell you that's all fine and well, but the Bears are not playing in the Super Bowl, okay? It's the Redskins and the Bills.
Nah.
I don't think so.
It's
I think
not
you're
so.
mistaken, Pat.
Brought the scores down for you, okay? Bears at Buffalo, Bills win 35-20. Washington at Bears, Redskins win 27.
Nah.
I don't know.
Nah, it didn't happen.
Could that be, Carl?
I go to all the games, my friend. I would know. I see them.
Let me try something else with you, okay? Let's see this little TV down here.
Yeah.
Look at this footage. That's against Buffalo.
Come on now. You know they can do anything with film.
That's right.
Yeah, that looks colorized to me.
Yeah, they put these things in a lab. They can make a Cardinal uniform look like a Bears uniform.
That's right. Ask Oliver Stone
It's
about that
awful.
one.
Fellas, read my lips. The Bears are not playing in Super Bowl 26, okay? All right?
Look up, Brian. The Bears are in there.
Pat.
Hey,
Yeah.
Pat. Todd, Todd, watch the barbecue. Will
Right.
You? Pat. Look, here's the deal. Carl and I know that the Bears are not in there. This is more for Todd's benefit, okay?
Ditka, Bears. Todd's had 14 heart attacks just this season.
Right. Doc says he's okay, but if he has another 10, he could be in trouble, okay? So if you could just help us out here, that'd be great.
Whatever you want, sure.
Okay. I mean, who knows? You know, I mean, what Ditka was thinking, you know, when he kept the Bears out of the Super Bowl.
Right, I mean, I'm sure he had his reasons. Maybe he wanted a more competitive Super Bowl,
Absolutely.
whatever.
You know, you work for CBS, you know the deal. I mean, if the Bears are playing, you'd have a first quarter score of like Bears 232, the Bills nothing. You know, who wants that?
No one wants that.
No.
Okay.
We better go
Glad
back.
you understand.
Hey, Todd. How you doing?
Hey, you guys just missed Ditka.
Get up.
He was wearing a parka, but I spotted his haircut.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a shame we missed him.
So the Bears going to do it, huh?
Yeah, no contest, Pat. It's
Bears.
their year. The Bears.
All right, you know what I say. Go Bears!
All right.
Nice.
Wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm a professional journalist. When I joined CBS, I took an oath. I swore never to misrepresent the participants of any contest, regardless of anybody's heart condition. I can't betray that oath. On the other hand, this guy does look like a mess. No. What am I saying? I'm Pat O'Brien, darn it. I've got a job to do.
Hey, fellas, I'm sorry about all this, okay? Enjoy your food. We got to go back upstairs for more on the Bills and the Redskins. Back to you.
That's great. That's great. Now you've done it. He's up and had another. That's great.
This is the baby one.
Done?
All right. Okay.
Done.
All right.
Done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close
No
call,
problem.
my friend.
All right,
Heart
all right.
attack, no
Let's
problem.
go back up to Greg with more on the Bears game plan, okay?
Thank you. That's right.
We want to thank those three guys, George Wendt, Chris Farley, and Robert Smigel. They are the best. The best, yeah. We'll check in on both teams when we come back to the Dome. Terry will take up his trusty telestrator to diagram the keys to victory in Super Bowl 26. And head coach Joe Gibbs taking the field with his Washington Redskins. And on the flip side of the field, the Buffalo Bills trying to get their act together and avoid a second straight loss. We'll be back right after this.
I wouldn't block anybody, so he said, well, put you at linebacker. Well, at linebacker, you tackle. I didn't want to tackle anybody, so where did he end up putting me, Greg?
Quarterback.
You got it.
As we continue to anticipate the matchup here between Washington and Buffalo, Super Bowl 26, we're going to turn Terry loose on the telestrator. Football is all about matchups.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
what's a good one to watch?
Well, one of the things I think you have to watch today is you got to look at Darryl Green, because he's the best defensive back in the National Football League. We know he's the fastest. And the thing I want you to look at, this is Green. This is Green. There he is, right there. And this is Michael Urban, circle. There you are, cleared up. Now watch what happens. Now we look at Urban. He's 6'3", 200. Darrell Green, 5'7", about 175. Size giveaway. Notice the respect. Notice he stays off. Notice that Green turned his back, gave him the sideline. That's a 12-yard route. Now the thing here is that Urban catches 5 for 7 in the first half with Green playing off of him. He respected the size of Urban. So in the second half, what Green does is he says, well, he had so much success in the first half. Now at the top of the screen, notice that he is up in his face now. Michael Urban on the left, Green on the right. Green says, now I'll play bump and run. Forget about the size. And now look what happens. Now we go downtown. Thank you, ma'am. There it is. Big play. So the size of the receivers. And today, Buffalo has Reed and Lofton, both of them over 6'2", both of them hanging around 200 pounds. And those big guys, along with Beebe and that great speed, and double moves on Green. That's the matchup today. I think Buffalo has the edge, even as great as Darrell Green is.
All right, now with Washington, you just know Joe Gibbs is going to run the football and run it and run it and run it, and that means the counter tray.
Well, the counter tray is it's just exactly what it says. Notice that Rip will come out, they'll step this way, hoping to get these guys to move. Then the back comes back, the off guard pulls, the off tackle pulls. But notice this. Here's a key. I'll draw a line across the right guard and the left guard. There's the center. Now watch what happens with my finger. Notice that I went up. There's the key. These guys are back off the ball. And I think what you'll see today, look at this now as we run the play. This is the counter trade. Counter, pretend you're going one way, give the ball back, pull the off tackle, Lachey, pull the off guard, McKenzie, and then you have the big play coming about to the right side. Don't have it there, but
there it is. Now it's moving.
Motion. Now you have no one on the backside. Now you bring in Sanders. Look at here. We bring Sanders in. That's to keep the backside pursuit. You got to have a big guy over there. But this case, all the Redskins say, put a little guy there. Slow him down. Look, off guard, off tackle, back gets in behind. The tackle's full, cuts inside, 5 or 6 yard play. There's a way, I think, that you can stop this, especially with the key.
All right, Terry, we'll take a timeout here, and we'll check in on the 2 locker rooms again for the latest from Pat and Leslie when the Super Bowl today continues, following this word from your local station.
One television show has already saved over 74 lives.
Help! Help!
Don't miss the television show that could save your life. Rescue 911, Tuesday.
This is CBS.
I hate to travel. I always sit next to the guy who wants to talk to me the whole way. I mean, eventually he starts warming.
I didn't play high school football until my senior year. The coaching staff used to always be after me. I remember not walking by the PE department. You know, I would take a long way around just so I'd avoid those coaches so they wouldn't be bugging me. And I was always the kind of guy that worked.
He was very strong. He'd come in and move all the furniture around almost every day in the house. Then he'd go out in the backyard and set up his little admission show where he charged all the children a nickel to come in and see his brother Donald lift weights.
She cannot believe all the good things that have happened for her little son, Charlie, what she calls me.
Every time I see him, I pinch him. I cannot believe that this is my child.
That little boy sure grew up, didn't he? One of the guys not in the lineup for the Buffalo Bills today, safety Leonard Smith. He is out of the action with a knee infection, and Pat O'Brien had a chance to chat with him.
All right, standing here with Leonard Smith, who probably feels as bad as anybody today that you can't play in this game. You have the infection in the knee. Your players have been coming up to you, though, and talking to you and hugging you. What have they been saying to you?
Well, just, you know, the emotion that, we're a close-knit family and, hoping that I'm out there. But they know I'm going to support them to the highs, and that's all they say. We're going to go out there and try to get it done for you because I was a big part of it, the reason we're here.
As we were talking about this, there's probably a reason for everything, but how disappointed are you can't play here? I mean, you helped them get here.
Well, you sit and think and you wonder why things happen, but in this cruel war is a reason for everything. And, I've spoke with the Lord and I've prayed, and I understand, what's taking place is for a reason. I may not, you know, it may not be handed out in coins or money or things like that, but it's a reason for everything. And and I'm at peace with myself, and that's the main thing.
Can they win?
Oh, that's the main thing. We come here for one reason only, is to win the Super Bowl. We got another opportunity. Not too many teams get a chance to come back-to-back, and we got opportunity to erase something that happened to us a year ago.
Thank you, Leonard. Leonard Smith, a class act. Back to you guys.
Class act indeed, and your heart has to go out to Leonard Smith, who was an integral part of the Buffalo Bills squad all season long and now has to watch from the sidelines during the big game. Down in the Redskins end zone, Leslie Visser is standing by. Let's check in with her. Leslie?
Greg, a late note from the Redskins. When the receivers were out here throwing the ball around a little bit earlier, Art Monk, Gary Clark, and Ricky Sanders, they kept looking up at the light while they were passing it around. I asked Ricky Sanders, what is the problem? And he said that on the deep ball, they were afraid that they were losing the ball in the light. Receiver coach Jack Burns said he spoke to the players to tell them to be conscious, to really focus on the deep balls. Of course, this isn't a new problem. You'll remember during the American League Baseball playoffs when the Toronto Blue Jay outfielders complained about the same thing. We'll watch for it. Greg?
All right, Leslie, thank you. Still to come here on the Super Bowl today, a chat with the astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery and a down-to-earth story of one Buffalo Bill who is already having a better Super Bowl than last year. Stay tuned. Linebackers. 3 big play guys come to mind. Dennett, Conlon, and Talley. But lurking in their shadows, Carlton Bailey, a 9th-round draft choice 4 years ago, who's quietly made the transition from his college position of nose tackle.
When Carlton came, he'd never played linebacker before, and his first year here, you wouldn't even know he was here. He wouldn't say anything in the meetings. He was quiet, all hunched over and wouldn't talk. He's become more open. He's got confidence in himself. He knows what he's doing now.
People say, well, how do I feel about maybe being a little overshadowed by such players as Cornelius Bennett and Darryl Talley and Shane Collins? I say it doesn't bother me at all, because I realize that in my own life that sooner or later, if I keep working hard, that some good things will happen for me.
And good things have happened to Bailey, including a John Elway pass that fell into his hands for the Bills' only touchdown in the AFC Championship game. There's no question Carlton Bailey has come a long way in the past year. Here at Rich Stadium in Buffalo is where Carlton Bailey came every Sunday this year to wage war against NFL opponents. But 1 year ago, there was quite a different war being waged.
During the Super Bowl, we were on the northern part of Iraq. We didn't know whether we was going to live or die. I mean, there were so many rumors as to what the outcome, how many casualties we were going to have, when the ground war was going to start. And the bad part about it was we didn't have anything else to do but wait and think.
When I was in a hotel down there in Tampa, I spent a whole lot of money watching those pay-per-view movies because of the fact that every major television station, except for a cable or something like that, was broadcasting something about the war, the casualties of the war.
While Carlton chose not to watch the war, his father wanted to see his son in action, but couldn't.
Because we didn't have any generators, we didn't get to see the game until in April when we finally unpacked the TV and hooked up a generator in Iraq. And we felt the spirit in our little tent, despite the fact that we knew the results.
Do you feel lucky? Truly blessed, truly blessed, because, I'm sure there's a lot of families, a lot of people right now whose children have been killed in war. And right now, I'm sure they're still grieving now. So I'm truly blessed to have my father come back.
And there is Conway Bailey today. He gets to see in person what he missed last year, his son playing in the Super Bowl. Well, from outside, our helicopter shot once again, courtesy of the CRM Group. And we've heard from just about every place on Earth. Next up, we do mean up. We'll take you to the final frontier.
We're gonna win, I guarantee.
yards.
This is as good as it gets. And the great thing about it, it lasts forever, 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 forever.
Today, the dream is reality as grown men become little boys again, living out their fantasy in front of the entire world. The Buffalo Bills, again the AFC's best team, make their second straight Super Bowl appearance, loaded with all sorts of offensive weaponry. The Hogs are the heart and soul of the Washington Redskins, paving the way for football's highest scoring team. It's a dream matchup, the two best teams in football on a day made for dreams. Live at the Metrodome in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, the Washington Redskins, the Buffalo Bills, Super Bowl number 26. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden, and in spite of all you've heard and read and everything that's been said, these two teams remain to each other at least somewhat of a mystery, and I think that's pretty good, don't you?
Well, I think it's very good. I like the purity of it. You know, that all year you could see this match coming like a collision course. The Buffalo Bills were the best team in the AFC. They had the best record. They were the best all year. The Washington Redskins were the best team in the NFC. And, you know, I kind of like the fact that they didn't play each other, where you can say, well, just a month ago this happened, so I think this is going to happen. They didn't play each other, and, you know, we don't know, the fans don't know, the press doesn't know, the players and coaches don't even know. As Joe Gibbs said yesterday, he said, we could kill them, they could kill us, or it could be a tight one. And Mark Rippon, the quarterback, said, we could beat them by 100 points, or there could be 100 punts.
You know, John, because of that element of mystery, both teams said the same things as we talked to them during the week. We got to get to their quarterback, and we have to control the line of scrimmage. And I guess when you get down to any football game, that's sort of the key.
Well, you know, I think that's the big thing, especially in this game, is controlling that line of scrimmage. It's the kind of game that I love because it's going to be in the line, and the line that wins is going to win this game. And it's not only being able to run the ball. I think they have to control the line of scrimmage so that they can run, and that's going to be the team that wins. And to control the line of scrimmage to protect the passer, because both teams feel they have to knock the quarterback down and they have to be able to run the football.
Well, as you can see, they're just about ready, and so are we. Coming up, Super Bowl number 26.
Where do you want to be in 10 years?
Detroit to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to Detroit.
Now let's meet the starting offense for the Washington Redskins. At wide receiver from Southwest Texas State, number 83, Ricky Sanders. At wide receiver from James Madison, number 84, Gary Clark. At left tackle from Ohio State, number 79, Jim Lachey. At left guard from Tennessee, number 63, Raleigh McKenzie. At center from Clemson, number 53, Jeff Bostic. At right guard from Idaho, number 69, Mark Schlereth. At right tackle from Louisville, number 66, Joe Jacoby. At tight end from San Diego State, number 85, Don Warren. At wide receiver from Syracuse, number 81, Art Monk. At quarterback from Washington State, number 11, Mark Rippon. At running back from East Carolina, number 21, Ernest Biner. And the head coach, coaching in his 4th Super Bowl, Joe Gibbs. Let's now welcome the champions of the American Football Conference, the Buffalo Bills. And now let's meet the starting offense for the Buffalo Bills. At wide receiver from Stanford, number 80, James Lofton. At left tackle from Vanderbilt, number 69, Will Wolford. At left guard from North Carolina State, number 51, Jim Richer. At center from Mississippi State, number 67, Kent Hull. At right guard from Arizona, number 74, Glenn Parker. At right tackle from Alabama A&M, number 75, Howard Ballard. At tight end from Jacksonville State, number 84, Keith McKellar. At wide receiver from Touchdown State, number 83, Andre Reed. At quarterback from the University of Miami, number 12, Jim Kelly.